Hey up. Right, sadly there's been a bereavement in my family, not actually in my household, but the effects of it have turned the household upside down. There's a lot to do before the funeral, and just the way things are, I've found myself unable to film at the beginning of this week as I would normally do. You know, there are people that need my support. And I don't honestly think much is going to change between now and the end of next week. I'll do my best. I've still put the usual 2 days aside for editing, but I'm going to have to make do with B-roll from previous videos. This is the Hagen shop fitting video. And I just hope that you don't mind watching sequences like this while I talk. Now, last week I made a video summarising all the things that are going on, sort of curtailing our freedoms as motorists. Not just motorcycles, but motorcar drivers as well. Most motorcyclists also have a car, so it affects all of us. Now, I will freely admit that I have become a bit obsessed by this subject because it has far-reaching consequences, not just to me and you, but to future generations as well. And it's mostly been done in the name of the climate change crisis and our targets to reach net zero. Now, last week, or I think it might have been the week before, I watched a very long video, an interview with a scientist called Dr. Richard Lindzen. Now, I'll leave a link to this video in the video description down below. It's a very long video, almost 2 hours, and I've got to admit, I think I only got about 1 hour and 10 minutes into it before I had to sort of go and see to other commitments. But in the first half hour of this video, he summed the climate change alarmism like this. The Nazi official Goebbels once said that if you tell a big enough lie and you keep telling it, eventually it becomes the truth. Needless to say, this man is, to say the least, sceptical of climate change and whether man is the cause of climate change. And I'm sure, you know, he's retired now, but I'm sure that if he was still working, you know, in the realm of science that he worked in, he would have been cancelled by now. He would have been discredited, because that's how the climate change alarmist lobby deals with anybody that disputes their reality, their truth. They don't sit down and talk about it like adults. They don't discuss it. They don't reason. They don't listen to other people's views in a responsible adult manner. They shout it down. They cancel it. They discredit it. Even the expression climate denier now has become a form of insult. You watch any debate on YouTube or TV where someone who's sceptical about climate change discusses the subject with a climate activist and questions the narrative or offers an alternative viewpoint, and they will instantly start shouting, and in the first sentence, "Are you a climate change denier?" will spew from the mouths. And that expression, climate change denier, is forced upon people in the same way as, you know, do you believe that the earth is flat? Do you believe that our government have been taken over by alien lizard people? It's intended to make the recipient look like a crazy person. An attempt to make them feel self-conscious and unsure, so they shut up. And every one of these supposed debates that I've seen, the activist usually ends up shouting down every person in the room. He or she will shout over them with a very limited script, and when you've watched enough of them, you can pretty much predict the next words out of the mouth, because they don't seem to actually know any facts other than, you know, a very limited script that they've been furnished with. In some ways, I found it quite embarrassing to watch. Embarrassed for them, not me, because it's clear that these people are gripped by an ideology that they actually know very little about. Now, the reason that I'm sort of leading into the video with this is that for the last just over a year, I've been making videos about, what's happening to our freedoms of movement. And, it is a much bigger subject than the subject that I discuss, because I only discuss the topics that come within the remit of this channel. But as a result of even that, this channel has found itself what's known as shadow banned. I'll try to explain to you what's going on. As of this month, this channel's been running for 6 years now. What normally happens, what happened for the first 5 years of the existence of this channel, is that, I would make a video and upload it. I would tick all the relevant boxes on the upload procedure. The video would be deemed by YouTube's sort of automatic system as being fit for all viewers and fit for all advertisers. The video would publish and it would run its course. Now, usually what happens is with any video, you get good views for the first day and then you get a gradual tail off in views as all the people that want to watch it have watched it. And, fewer and fewer people click onto the video. When you look at the graphs in the analytics on my channel, what you see is sort of a high point, and then your views start to drop off, and it's like a ski slope on the graph. It's a gradual decline in views. And the first few videos that I made on these kind of subjects performed in exactly the same way. In fact, they got a lot of views. Obviously, there are a lot of people concerned about these issues, and there were a lot of people interested in watching the videos. Then, if you remember, about 10 months ago, someone started reporting my videos for having harmful content or containing bad language. Totally untrue, but it still resulted in 1 or 2 videos being demonetized. Once it's been demonetized, YouTube no longer really has any interest in showing it because they don't make any money out of it if they're not showing adverts on the video. So the YouTube algorithm will then start to prioritize other videos over that video. When you go onto your YouTube feed and you're offered videos to watch, even though it might fit your viewing criteria eminently, the video will be moved way down the list. It will essentially be hidden. It's there, but it's not. Far fewer people see it, so far fewer people click on it and watch it. Now, I reported to you about 10 months ago that now YouTube is manually or supposedly manually reviewing every single video that I make, something that never happened before. That means that according to them, every video that I make, one of their operatives watches the entire video and judges whether it's fit for all audiences and it's fit for all advertisers. And I know that they're doing this because it shows it on my analytics panel. Now, the strange thing is that your average run-of-the-mill video, a video showing you fitting shock absorbers like this one, or showing you some luggage, or, whatever, after that manual review, those videos perform as normal. The patterns on the graphs fit in with what I would normally expect to see. Good high views at the beginning, then over a period of days, a gradual trail off. That ski slope on the graph that I told you about earlier on. But any video that I make that discusses climate change, that there might be an alternative to the normal narrative, any video that highlights the inadequacies of electric vehicles, any videos that discuss the policies designed to stop us from travelling around in our motor vehicles, or any other video in that sort of general category, doesn't perform as normal. Usually about 12 to 18 hours in, the views suddenly fall off a cliff as though someone's flicked a switch and disconnected it from the algorithms. I've seen a lot of these videos, in fact most of these videos, getting sort of 400 to 600 views per hour between 11 p.m. and midnight, and then suddenly at midnight it drops to 30 or 40 views an hour. Now, I've been doing this long enough to know that is very unusual. The first time it happened, I thought it was just an anomaly. But then, as time has gone on, the normal run-of-the-mill videos, they perform as usual, but the videos that cover these sort of subjects all go the same way. At a predetermined time, views will suddenly, at the flick of a switch, go from very respectable to hardly anyone watching them at all within a matter of minutes. As though someone somewhere is selectively turning those videos off from the algorithm to limit the number of people that are watching them. Now, anyone that watches videos of, shall we say, a controversial subject matter will have heard of this happening before. It does go on, we know it goes on. And a lot of people ask me in the comments, why am I the only motorcycle channel discussing these issues? Why are the others silent about it? Well, it's because they don't want to be shadow banned. So they stay away from these subjects and stick to more light-hearted subjects. And I'm not criticising them for doing that. Everybody needs to make a living, and if they don't want the revenue flow interrupting, that's the best way to continue. And especially right now, times are very hard. I fully understand why they don't want, their income cutting. But I'm a bloody-minded individual. I always have been. If you knock me down, I'll get back up. If you knock me down again, I'll get back up again. And I'll keep getting back up as many times as you can knock me down. Until either you get fed up of knocking me down or I can't get up anymore. Now, the thing is, mainstream media never talks about these subjects. As if you watch the BBC or any of the major news outlets, the world is just continuing as it normally is. Nothing to see here. They never mention it. Or if they do, they talk about it as a positive thing that we should all be grateful for. And as a result of that, a lot of people are blissfully unaware that any of this is going on. The first thing they know about it will be when it starts to adversely affect their lives, when it's too late. I think most people know that the ban on the sale of internal combustion engine cars and small motorcycles will be banned from 2030. But when I talk to people about it in general conversation, I don't think it really computes with them yet. It seems a long way away. So they haven't really sat down and considered the effect that it is going to have on their lives in the future. When you talk about low traffic streets, ULEZ zones and zero emission zones, they seem totally unaware of it because, they live in an area that's not been affected yet. The first they will know about it is when it does come to a street near them and the local council charges them £12.50 every day on the 15-mile journey to work. The first they'll know about it is when they try to buy a cooker or a new fridge or washing machine and the shop turns round and tells them that they can't deliver it to them because they live in a ULEZ zone or a zero emission zone and their vehicle will be charged £100 for coming into that area, so they'll have to make other arrangements. Or a plumber refuses to come and fix the boiler for the same reason. Or the local butcher or greengrocer closes down because the suppliers will no longer deliver their supplies. And there are dozens of equally unsavoury scenarios in my head that people are going to encounter in due course over the next few years that they simply weren't prepared for because the mainstream media never told them about it. Or maybe they told them about it, but they told them it was a good thing and failed to mention the negative consequences that it would have on their lives. So, in an attempt to redress the balance, I will continue making those types of video for as long as I possibly can, but I need some help from you. Now, first of all, I have opened accounts on other video sharing platforms, and every video that I've made for the last 2 years has been stored away, ready to upload to those platforms if I ever need to. So I'm sort of covering my back if it just becomes unworkable here on YouTube. Now, I don't want to sort of make a preemptive jump onto those platforms because it takes time to build up a viewership on those platforms, and at the moment I've got a further reach here on YouTube. But the YouTube algorithm isn't foolproof. There are ways that we can sort of mitigate or override it. First of all, subscribership and notifications. At the end of every video I always ask people that if they're not a subscriber to subscribe to the channel and to hit the notification bell to be informed whenever I upload a new video. That will override the algorithm if it's been switched off. But what a lot of people don't realise, that even if you hit the notification bell, you won't be notified unless your notifications are enabled in your account settings on YouTube. It's a bit of a silly state of affairs. I don't know why it's like that, but you actually have to go into your settings, find your notifications and then enable them, and then only then will you be notified whenever I upload a new video. And the other odd thing is, even if you enable it, you may find 2 weeks later it's somehow been disabled again, even though you've never disabled it. It's just something that happens. It happens on my account all the time. I don't know why it happens, but it does. So check your settings regularly to make sure that your notifications are enabled. So basically, the more subscribers I have, and the more of them that have, enabled the notifications, the more of them will get to see that I've uploaded these videos, and that will work against the algorithm and reduce the effectiveness of a shadow ban. The other thing you can do is share these videos. Now, I'm not asking people to just share them everywhere, especially in places where they might come into conflict with other internet users. Only do it where you think it's appropriate, but I have seen some of these videos shadow banned, and then after a couple of days all of a sudden the views rocket to an all-time high. And when I look through the analytics, what I find is that someone shared it on some particular sort of motoring page or motoring website, and a lot of the views are coming from that link that they've posted on those sites or pages. Again, that overrides any shadow ban that's in place. This channel at the moment represents the only way that I can sort of get the news about these unsavoury policies that are going to affect us all in the future out to the general public, to those that want to know about it. I think looking around, people are becoming increasingly more aware of what's going on and increasingly more concerned about it. These subjects are getting a lot more coverage than they used to, but we need to keep that pressure on. We need to keep informing people, and we need to create a pushback against the establishment that, basically says, no, that's enough, we're not taking any more of this. That won't happen while it's just a minority that knows about it and is unhappy about it. We need bigger numbers. Policymakers and local governments seem to be habitually introducing these policies sort of behind closed doors, under the table. The fewer people, members of the public that know about it, the better. They want it to sneak up on people and only catch them out when it's too late to do anything about it. That is what these organisations are banking on. So the more people know about it now, the better. I don't believe it's too late to sort of turn it around. Not yet. If these people think that this current pursuit of net zero will stop them from getting voted in, or will prevent them from being voted in again, they will have to rethink it. Once again, I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this ramble. I do appreciate it because every view that this channel gets counts. It really does, and it means a lot to me. I will, as usual, be back on Friday, so until then, if you're riding, please ride safely, and I'll see you soon.